Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of SuperFantaFi. This being a show where we talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm gonna talk about The Wheel of Time, Season 3, Episode 7. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, obviously, we go back to the Two Rivers as everyone is mounting up and preparing for this fight. Obviously, Perrin has a lot of reservations because he feels bad because he's like, he even says later on when he's talking to Fael about the worst thing for him is like death isn't the worst thing, it's what comes before when he has to witness the people around him die, the people he's leading into battle. And it's like, how can I lead? Like, I'm not ready for this. And even she's like, you're not. You know, the fact of the matter is, if they wanted a powerful person, they follow Alana. They wanted a more skillful person, they follow the two Aiel sisters. But they've chosen to follow you because you are one of them, and they would rather go into combat knowing they're being led by one of their own. It's better than being, because him rallying forth. You can be their strength to show like you, a member of the Two Rivers, is walking forward to fight. That in itself can give them courage, the strength to keep on, to push throughout all of this. But yeah, it's also about Fael bringing up the whole point of his wife again, because, you know, obviously later on, Perrin wants her to leave, and she's like, no, I'm not going to. He's like, why? He's like, I can understand why others might fight, but you kind of have no stake in this, so why are you staying to fight? And for her, because she's like, well, maybe it's because Matt blowing the horn of Valir kind of stole my honor. Maybe I just want to stick around. He's like, yeah, but God, because she made reference to like him, like, her died or whatever. She's like, oh, don't worry, I'll last longer than you or something like that. But obviously it's like she's sticking around because Perrin's like, I know I'm not the only reason why you're sticking around. But for her, it's like, because she wants to help. She sees this fight, and I think she herself is inspired by these people and them rallying behind Perrin, because she herself is rallying behind Perrin of like, I know you're going to do what's right by these people. They'd stand way less of a chance if it wasn't you leading them. So it's just, you know, Perrin's just shaky about everything because he holds so much doubt in himself about everything. Once again, the death of his wife is just, it still weighs on him. It's a noose around his neck. But then, you know, Fayola's like, once again, we go into battle, you know, and that's our right to choose if we fight. Even what comes afterwards, you have to honor that. So once again, your wife chose to fight. Stop dishonoring her by kind of wallowing in that sorrow of what happened. Honor her. The fact is that she died in battle, that she died trying to fight with, and that was a point Faio's tried to get across to him before, and they're trying to hope, like this time it seems like it finally stuck. Perrin also tries to meet with the White Cloaks, and the fact is Dane shows up. I was like, you're not working with them, are you? Because we saw Fane show up last episode, so it's like, well, we know like that's him and Dark friends, and they're with the Trollocs. So I was thinking like, oh, did the Trollocs wipe out the White Cloaks? It's like, no, they used this as an opportunity, because either way the situation played out, they knew that the White Cloaks were coming in, and they could just use this opportunity to strike. They probably planned everything so that whether it's the White Cloaks coming as reinforcements or coming to finish off the Two Rivers, you're there for the ride. Either way, you create a situation to draw everyone in so that things play out the way you want them to. But obviously, Dane kind of has no interest in helping the two Rivers, because it's like, yeah, you murdered my father. And Perrin's like, I'm sorry I did that. But are you going to, like, you abandoning the Two Rivers isn't the same as revenge. There is nothing right in all of that. Like, when it's all said and done, you help the Two Rivers. Like, I will turn myself in when the battle's all said and done. But Dane doesn't believe him. He's like, how can I trust you? But Perrin had thrown out the whole, like, you murdered Natty Coulter in cold blood. Like, she was an innocent person. It's like, oh, she was a witch. It's like, no, she wasn't even a channeler. Like, she didn't have any powers. Obviously, at the end, not going to admit who the actual channelers were. I'm sure he can piece it together now. But if it wasn't her, it was her daughters. But, you know, we didn't get that far. But, you know, that was probably piecing together in his head. But at the end of the day, it's still the thing of, you took your wrath for Perrin out on her because you felt like, oh, you're trying to defend this guy. Like, you needed to let that rage out on somebody. And it's something Perrin saying this episode of, like, we're stuck in this endless cycle of what are we just going to do? Like a constant back and forth. You hurt someone, I hurt someone, and that's just what this is going to be. especially because the people I wanted to make sure I remember the name, but I forgot. The people who follow the way of the leaf, that I think we haven't seen them since season one, find their way, and because obviously them, along with so many other refugees near the two rivers, are running from the trawlers because they're closing in. So they're staying there, and the plan ultimately is, we're not going to have you guys fight, because Perrin knows them, so it'll be like, I know I would never make you go against that and what you believe. I'm asking that when the fighting gets too bad and it looks like we might be nearing our end, I need you to escape with the children. Can you do that? And she's like, I would be honored to do that. So it's just that complicated nature of the two leaves thing, because the current leader, her son, it's the frustrating thing of, well, I lost my grandfather, and what are we going to do? We just keep moving on because that's the way of the leaves. Like, what else do we, we've seen that time and time again, that struggle of that belief. Obviously, the Io sisters spit at them and called them lost ones, which is so ironic and interesting, considering, like, well, what we, I didn't even really think about it at the time because I'd kind of forgotten, but it's like, it is interesting in episode 5 when we look at the past of, like, those who chose the path of, like, the warrior, and they're the ones kind of seen as like, oh, we should turn our eyes away from them, but the Aiel look at it as the ones who follow the way of leaf are the lost ones who we don't need to pay it, like spitting at, like that. Once again, like, it is interesting how, given enough time, centuries and stuff like that, a century or two passing by, probably more, how things can shift and turn, amongst, and in that dichotomy and that dynamic of, like, those clashing beliefs on which one seemed like, who was demonized then versus who is now the shoe is on the other foot on who's demonizing who. Just, it is interesting how that can work and how that plays out. But either way, we also had Alana training Matt's sisters, and even the current wisdom, she's got powers too, and Alana's like, oh, you could help out with this, because they're not necessarily going to be directly in a battle. They're just going to like flow their energy into Alana so she can attack, which I love. One of the sisters is like, are you going to throw lightning like Moraine did? And you have Alana almost being like, why am I getting compared to Moraine under these circumstances? So like, yeah, I get it. Moraine's hot shit and all that stuff, throwing down lightning. I got it. She turns out to be pretty impressive herself, bringing down shards of ice daggers, which is pretty impressive. I was so curious to see how that was going to play. I was like, well, you're summoning a storm. I didn't know how that was going to come out. I was like, at first I was like, oh, it's just hail. It's like, no, it's shards of hail, and you even see one person get stabbed in the neck by it. So like, yeah, that's pretty impressive. But yeah, other than that too, we had Loyola and the two Io sisters, and I love the whole situation where he's like, all right, I'm ready to play Maiden's Kiss now. And like, I was wondering what changed it. I was like, well, because we're nearing death, and I think he even said that. I was like, huh. And so they're kind of doing the whole thing of kind of, if you back away, the blade gets closer and closer to your neck. And both sisters are almost like, wait, what? What's going on? If we keep going further, we'll kill him. So they back away, and he's like, hey, because you did that, normally how many people, men and women, die because of this, right? It's like, cool. So you guys saved my life, so your toe has been paid. I was like, oh, that's slick, Loyal, because he was trying to get them away from the battle. So it's like, this way you don't have to stick around. This is no longer your fight. And one sister was about to walk away because she's like, that's disrespectful what you did. But the other sister's like, no, come back, sis. The fact of the matter is, yes, your toe has been paid, but because he did that, we've both saved his life now, and your toe has been paid, but mine still hasn't been. I was like, oh, and Loya was so, he was like, damn, that, you should have only been playing against one of them instead of both of them. So, so it's like, yep. And the sister was like, yep, and where my sister goes, I go. So it's like, we're literally in the same position, just the toe's been passed from one sister to the other. I was like, I love that. I was like, I thought that was pretty slick and interesting. Little bit of Maxima and Alana, which I thought was kind of, they have their little intimate moment, because she's like, no, don't turn off the bond. Like, if we are going to die, because we most likely will, at the very least, I want to kind of fill everything up until then. And then the whole fig thing and then making out, and she kind of bites and sucks on his ear. She's like, ooh, you like that, don't you? He's like, no, that's what Yvonne would do. But you and me, we're creating something new. So it's like, I was kind of worried. I was like, oh, is this moment going to be kind of ruined because there's not three of you anymore? It's like, no, it's like, we just got to find our new rhythm. So I am curious going forward, would Alana ever bother like filling that void again? once again, she's been through other waters, but I wonder, like, now, like, that her Maximum found, like, if Maxim died, sure, she'd probably find another water, but where their ebb and flow is now, she probably doesn't want to throw that in, because it just be like just trying to replace Yvonne. So it's like, for now, I'm just going to stay with Maxim, and he might just stay her water until the end, whatever that end may be. Obviously, it's a very nerve-wracking situation, the entire episode. Like, once again, I'm not familiar with the source material, so I don't know if Perrin survived. You would assume, like, yo, you're like one of our 5 main characters. I'd assume you'd survive, but I'm also like, there's like a lot of books in this series. Like, I want to say, like, I remember there being maybe 14, if not, like, I think at one point I counted 14. I actually don't even know if the books are still ongoing. Okay, so I looked it up. I do think I was right about the 14 number, and that is in fact the final book too. So there are kind of plans for no more books to be written after. Obviously, someone had to finish up after the original author, Robert Jordan, died. But tangents and all that aside, my point is, at any point in time, like, things could shift and change, and we could lose characters. So I'm not solidified in thinking like, oh, Perrin's going to be alive the entire time. I also don't know where we are in the books. I don't know if this is going to be kind of like how they're going to treat the Harry Potter series, where like every season was essentially it's supposed to be a book. That's how the Harry Potter show is going to work. I don't know if the Wheel of Time books work that way. I should probably look into that, but I'll save that for another time. But for right now, like I said, my whole point on this whole diatribe is I didn't know if Perrin was going to survive. I didn't know if the Two Rivers was going to survive. This could easily have been like a tragic situation. I mean, a lot of people still died when this all said and done, but like the obviously they had everything planned out. They put up their barricades. You hold the line here as long as possible, then you move back to the next barricade. You hold that line as much as possible, move back until you're cornered and there's no more. And so you got some of the farmers who are practicing with spears, but one guy was like, no, like, we're better with bows. And they proved themselves with the bows, like with the volleys hitting everybody, because it isn't just Trollocs mixed in. There are dark friends amongst them too, but doing their thing. But like I said, there's like death on one side, there's death on another. But at the same time, this is all going down to Loyal had talked to Perrin about, like, right, we need to destroy the way gate, because as long as the way gate is open and openable, that means more Trollocs can come through reinforcement wise. But but the thing is, that would mean that the way gate leading to Two Rivers will forever be gone. So meaning none of them could ever take advantage of that. If they want to, like, there's no like instant travel in that regard. They can't take advantage of that. Meaning Rand and anyone else could never just go to a way gate and find their way back here immediately. That pathway is cut off. Who knows if that could ever be repaired, but it seems unlikely. And even if it was possible, it'd take a very, 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 very long time to probably make that happen. So, but Perrin's like, all right, you do that, but the moment you do, you guys don't come back here. Because for Perrin, it's like, if we die, like, we need someone to go off and tell our stories. Like, you go back to your home and kind of heal up and everything, but you also tell our story, because he's like, I will trust no one else to do it. And to call Loyal by his name, home here, father of this, and a son of this, and it's just like, he's like, your name rings in my ears. And then Loyal was like, you too, Lord Perrin, Goldeneyes. He's like, don't call me that, because like everyone pokes fun of him calling him Lord Perrin or Lord Goldeneyes. And Loyal and the two ladies are on their way, and they attack the gate, and they slaughter the people there. And Loyal needs to go on the other side. He's like, will you two watch my back? But destroying the actual gate seemed impossible. And I was like, is Loyal going to have to make this sacrifice? And ultimately he does. I was like, damn, he has to destroy the thing connecting the entire waypoint space to that gate. And in the process, sacrificed himself. You're like, damn. I was kind of scared. I was like, oh, are the two Io warriors going to die too? And it's like they're on the outside. I was like, oh, it's going to get bad. I was like, oh, this could end badly. It was like, don't tell me they're going to die too. But no, they survived. Because when the gate went down, it explodes and knocked everybody back. But yeah. Because, like I said, it's just the back and forth, because you feel like every moment you're kind of like, okay, there's a little reprieve. Like, okay, the first volley, they survived. I mean, there's some people that got hurt, injured, and killed. But it's like, okay, we're still okay. But it's like, is that really it? It's like, that seems too easy. They go back to the village like, yeah, something's just not sitting right. And then, like, turns out Alana got attacked. And, like, that one And it's sad too because the wisdom, like when Alana did what she did, bringing down those icicle blades, like she was like, as long as I could keep drinking, and then after that she threw it away. Like, all right, no more drinking. I'm taking this shit serious now. I can feel my power now, and she used that to defend Alana so that her and the girls can get away. And sadly, like while the girls, I don't know, I think they're probably so panicked with everything going on, they're like, wait, we can't heal you, Alana. And I think it's just because I think maybe just Alana drawing so much of their energy at the time, and they're still getting new and accustomed to this. Plus, they're freaking out with everything going on. They can't heal her. So Maximum's trying to lead the squad because they're like, no, we need to fall back without the Aes Sedai. But it's like, no, we need to stand. Warriors are the ones that are too stupid to believe, like, they basically to back down, and they still, regardless of everything, held their ground until they got pushed back to the village. Was it the women's circle? They're holding their ground too, and they get backed into a corner. I said that weird corner, and then the White Cloaks eventually arrive, but Fane and his people are mixed in, and now it turns into a whole slaughter as more of the Trollocs tunnel through, and just everyone's doing their best to survive. And then Perrin kind of snaps to it, and he tells Faiola to stay behind him. She's like, I don't need you. He's like, no, I need you to finish the ones I don't kill. And it's actually dope. Axe in one hand, hammer in another, and knocking, like, hitting Trollocs and people. And Faiola, like, just, like, coming in for, like, this, like, swift, agile, like, finish off technique. It's a nice pairing. They work well together in unison, and just they're kind of pushing back a little bit. Like, even the women's circle doing their thing too, like grabbing some of the Trollocs, knocking them to the ground, and just stab. Like, this wasn't like some one-sided fight, whereas like Moraine and the others kind of had to hold the ground against the Trollocs first time around. And it's like, just to see how crazy, how much the Two Rivers has grown, that they're standing their ground fighting in this capacity. Farmers, the blood of warriors running through them. So I thought that was just beautiful in that capacity. And especially Fane is over there with that smile, thinking like, ha ha ha. And it wasn't smiling and laughing anymore the moment Perrin started coming after that ass. I was like, don't let that bastard get away. And like Perrin hits him, like tosses the hammer and knocks him down. And it's like, why did you do this? Why do you hate us? It's like, I don't care about you. The reason why I'm doing this is because the Dark Lord wants to make the dragon suffer. So knowing like his home was irreparably destroyed and killed, that all makes it worth it. It's just like, what are you, I guess, everyone's got their deals that they're made with the Dark Lord to become dark friends. And I guess in his path, it's just like, I get to be a friend, but also like, I don't get destroyed and wrecked like everyone else. I'm on the winning side of things. But then the gate goes down, and now, oh, no more reinforcements for you. And I love Perrin. Like, you know what that is? He's like, I smell fear on you. You're afraid to die. You want to sit here and pretend like, oh, whether I kill you or not, nothing matters. But look, I don't smell fear on anyone else here but you, because people here in Two Rivers, they're willing to fight and die for it. But you're actually scared. I will let you live if you call off your Trollocs. And he's like, and you trust me to do it? He's like, if you trust that I will kill you if you don't. And so he rallies his people and escapes. And it's like, yeah, Two Rivers and some White Cloaks are still alive. Like, it's, yeah. Once again, was not sure how this was all going to play out. So you're like, wow. There's some catharsis to it. Also, home dude who I like amongst the White Cloaks I had the biggest issue with, you're just like, oh, I hate that guy. He came across the children, like Matt's siblings, when they were with Alana. He's like, oh, I know who she is. I know she's an Aes Sedai. Move aside, children. And they start channeling, and they burn him alive. I was like, ooh, for one, poetic considering what he did to their mom. Two, like, it's just like, that guy's I've been waiting for that bastard to get his comeuppance. The last time one of the last times we saw him in the show, like before the season, was like, I want to say it was that Perrin and Egwene episode. We might have saw him after that too, but it was like, it's around the time Perrin awakened to like his, what was that? I forgot what he's called again. They mentioned it previously, but like, his connection to wolves and stuff. Once he unlocked that, it was around that same time they came across this guy, and I was kind of like, I've been waiting for him to get his comeuppance, and that was poetic, after what you did. And with everything going on, no one will ever be the wiser, because it's like, well, no one's going to say it was the kids, because who cares? But also, it's like, yeah, he died in battle, so it's just kind of like, yeah, you got your comeuppance, you bastard. So especially after what you did to their mom. Like, she was an innocent woman just trying to defend her children. And I mean, once again, he's a symptom of something larger, because he's not the only white. He's probably one of the most disgusting white cloaks we've seen because of like his behavior and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm like, there's radicals amongst the white cloaks. I'm sure like Dane, I mean, still Dane served their mom up on a silver platter, sure, but it's still the thing of he didn't actually do it himself, so it's a little different. Doesn't make it okay. Like I said, there's other white cloaks like him, but he's the one we've kind of gotten to know the most. Like, oh, one the guy that died. Lo and behold, he did. Once again, I always have to preface that nothing gets the actor. It's like you're playing a despicable character and you do such a good job playing it, you know? I think that's a testament to the actor, where it's like you're meant to hate the character. So either way. But in the aftermath of it all, obviously the two rivers are trying to pick themselves up. I also forgot with the way the Leaf people, they managed to get away with the kids, but there was one Trolloc that was following the son, and he defended himself. You knew it was only a matter of time, and his mom saw it. So now it's like, right, he can no longer be with them because he's already shed blood. Like he picked up a weapon and he drew blood. Regardless of it, that's just not how their people operate. No matter what the circumstances are, you just kind of have to let death come. Like, we are a peaceful people. That's just how you do it. But he gets offered a job because it's like, yeah, this town's going to need a new blacksmith. So, he's not going to be completely on his own. It's like he's not going to be around his mom, but still, it's like, at least his mom is going to be in the general area, and at least gives him other community he can be a part of, instead, because he's going to be ostracized amongst his people, especially ostracized by his mom because of all of this. So when it's all said and done, though, they learn about Loyal, and it turns out he left his book behind. They're like, he knew he wasn't going to come back. And the final passage of it was like, what was it, a red eagle turning into a wolf? You're like, ah. And he talks about how, like, Perrin stood up for what he believed in, and he was a man of honor, like, Lord Perrin, my friend. I was like, oh, dude, that sucks. But obviously, like, you can't deny, like, obviously him sacrificing himself, and obviously it plays into the larger theme of honoring those who've made that sacrifice, their choice to fight. It's like I ordered him to go home, but he chose not to. He knew from the beginning what he was going to do and what he was willing to sacrifice for this fight. Because if I'm not, how can I be the only one not willing to give everything for this fight, like everyone else in this village was, So, but obviously Dane shows up with the White Cloaks coming to claim Perrin. And Perrin goes along because for him it's like, right, the cycle, like, the violence will just keep repeating itself. And so Perrin's like, if my fate is to die, then so be it. And he tells Fael, like, you will respect my choice to no longer fight, right? I respect your choice to fight. You will respect mine not to. And the mom from the Way of the Leaf people is proud. She's like, because she even said, like, oh, there's hope for you yet, Perrin. And it's like, yeah, like, he didn't want this violence to continue. Like, there are times when you have to fight, and in this particular regard, it's like, no, like, he's protecting his people and doing right by him. And even as he's being taken away, the people are cheering his name, Lord Perrin. So the question now becomes, what happens now? I want the two Aiels, like, their main thing was staying by Loyal because they owed a tow to him. But now that he's gone, I think they'll probably stick around the village, because even the question happened for Matt's sisters. They were like, are we going to take us to the tower now? But Alana's like, no, like, there might be a bigger role for us. And I'm curious to see what that ends up being. Is her and Maxim going to stay here in the village? Sure, probably make sure that the two rivers are taken care of. Because with everything that went down in the towers, they probably feel like, well, we can't really be sure that the tower's the right place to be right now. And also, this town is going to need Matt's siblings. That's challenge. Like, I'm so curious to see what this bigger role is. Like, we have a bigger role. We have much more to do outside of the tower. So obviously this entire episode taking place solely with the two rivers in this great climactic battle. It's so interesting, obviously, this being the penultimate episode of the season. I'd assume, because all the other seasons have been 8 episodes as well, which I just looked it up to confirm it. So that's going to be interesting to see. Like, this episode was all episode 7. So, I mean, obviously we kind of leave Perrin on kind of a down note a little bit. There's an honorable upswell of, like, pride and everything after everything they accomplished, but it still kind of ends on a little bit of a sour note in that regard. Obviously, where we left off with Rand, things were kind of on a sour note. So we'll see how things end up with Nynaeve, Matt, Elaine, and them when we pick up with them with the whole Leandrin of it all, and then Maki and her machinations as well as Lanfear's machinations. So my biggest question was like, how is Rand going to feel when he finds out? Because like Moraine specifically knows that what's his name, like Samael came because of Lanfear. So there, and now he knows also about Lanfear being the one torturing Egwene in her dream. So there's a lot to carry over into the season finale. I'm curious to see. I'd assume like the Nynaeve and Rand storylines will probably get the most play. Those two storylines will probably get the most play. Probably won't touch on anymore because this will probably like the final bit we get to see up here. Maybe we'll catch up with him a little bit with what he's up with, what's happening with the White Cloaks. Maybe not. We'll have to, I'm so fascinated to see how this season ultimately ends up wrapping up, and I mean, just where this all leaves us storyline wise. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.